So sometimes this shit sucks. What a way to open. I know, right? Like, doesn't that leave you feeling positive and uplifted? This guy coming to you to inspire you, and he's like, this shit sucks. But as I said, I want this to be honest and I want it to be real and authentic. And it's true. So, Sundays are the best days and the worst days. They're the best days in terms of it's family day. And I fucking love family day. It is the best day. It's the day I get to spend the entire day with my kids, with my wife. We do things together all day. So this morning I let my wife sleep in, spent time with the kids. We did what's known as activities, which is arts and crafts. We then went for a walk together, so I ticked that box. And then we went out all day. We went to the shops, went down to the local plaza, and yeah, it was great. Like, we had a wonderful day together, came home, shower, bedtime, got to read all the stories, had cuddles and read the stories, and then, I cuddled my daughter to sleep until she fell asleep, and then I went and did my workout, and now I'm here. And it's beautiful. Like, it's honestly how I'd love to spend every day of my life. Like, that's just perfect. But it sucks on the front of, at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, I'm now starting to do the things that are on my list. And that makes it a very interesting time. It gets compressed. Thankfully, they decided, that they wanted to walk this morning. That was fantastic. And that's what I talk about when people are like, it's, your actions don't influence your children. Fuck that. They asked me. They were like, Daddy, can we please go for a walk? So I loaded them into the pram, chucked my weight vest on, and off we went. And that made, things much easier. But yeah, I've now just finished my workout because this is the first chance that I've had a moment to. And this is the downside of that zero choice mentality. My wife was asking if we were going to snuggle up and watch some TV together. Well, we will once I finish all this, but I have shit to do. I have a list of things that need to get done, and I'm going to tick them off as fast as I can. And the upside of this is that it creates this hyper focus. But part of chasing greatness, part of being different, saying fuck you to average, to breaking free of that thing, is that you have to do things that other people won't. I still get my list done on Sunday. I have shit to do on Sunday. The weekend is not time to kick back. That is just another day of the week. The only differentials from each day for me is how much PT work I have to do, how much floor gym time I have to do. That is it. That is the only thing that differentiates my days. So, so I'm here. Sorry, I keep bumping that mic. But to be real and raw with that, like, that is actually the reality of it, that, you need to make these decisions. And on the other upside of this, though, is, as I discussed the other day, there is that physical discipline muscle. And I have been building that all day. I have been working on it, and it is getting stronger and stronger by the day. And so that is exciting to me. And I think that's how you have to shift the mindset, because, like, when you look at it that way, that you go, yeah, every time I say no to something that I want to do that isn't beneficial to me, it's an instant gratification thing, or I say yes and do something that I don't want to do, and I get excited about it because I know that I'm physically building that muscle. It's the same as the gym. Like, you need to get excited about pushing as your body as far as you can, pushing past what it's saying is possible, and then finding that next level. And you get excited when you feel that pain and that lactic acid, that burning, that sensation, that drive, because you know that you're reaching a new level. When you can get excited about that shit, you are reaching a whole new level of success. You are pushing into something higher, into something greater. And, that's where I'm at the moment. And even though I don't know what it is, whether it's, I'm more tired at the moment because Connor, my son, is not sleeping, or what it is, but the last 2 days, I've had cravings like you would not believe. Like, I was watching something the other night and I was like, my God, I could go fucking pizza. And like, this is the other thing that I get frequently with people, and they're like, oh, but it's easy for you. Like, you're just that way. And I was like, no, I am not that way. I don't think you fucking understand how much I love food. Like, I could legitimately eat a good fucking loaded pepperoni pizza with garlic aioli every day of the week and a tub of Ben and Jerry's. Oh, easy. No questions asked. I would just eat the shit out of that every day of the week. But I don't, because obvious fucking reasons. But yeah, like it's this one at the moment where I'm like, oh, that would have gone down really well. And, while we're out today, everybody else got, takeaway, or like they weren't super bad options. They were the healthier options within that, but I ate meat, I ate some fruit, and I ate sweet potatoes. Oh, and raw dairy, sorry. That's it. That's all I fucking eat. And we can have a debate on if that's good for you or not, but talk about like keeping things simple and how much better I feel. And to be honest, I'm probably even considering cutting out the sweet potato and reducing the fruit. That's just about ease of consumption of food rather than choices on that. But yeah, that was hard today. I was like, man, I could really go some sushi. And especially like if you have kids, I assume everybody knows this. Every parent I've spoken to knows this. But like, you just eat their food, like because they will never eat everything you make them, or buy them, or cook for them, or prepare for them. The majority of the time, the kids just eat like I eat, like my wife eats. So we're good. I can just eat their food. But when they're out, Lex wanted sushi today. So they had sushi. It was really hard because we're just going to throw it in the bin to not just eat that food. I have a thing about waste. It really irks me to waste food. But, these are the things where we make these choices each day to whether we're moving forward or we're not. And this is part of the zero choice mentality. And like, I got this one from Jocko Willink, the freedom, discipline is freedom. And I think there's so much in that because there are still going to be choices every day that you have to make. And then you're going to have to use that willpower to make those choices. But it becomes a much simpler choice when there aren't feelings and emotions involved because it's just this, do I eat this? Yes, no. No, this isn't the type of food I eat. Therefore, the answer is no. There's no actual thought process in it. So the amount of willpower required is much less because you've just previously made the commitment. You made the commitment at the start of this program that this is what you were going to do. Therefore, it becomes much easier to follow through on that because there isn't like, oh, well, does it fit my macros? Oh, I really worked out pretty hard yesterday, or maybe I underate yesterday, or whatever the fuck the reason may be. It is black and white. It is simple. It is, does this fit what I said I would do? Yes, no. No, it doesn't. Therefore, the answer is no. End of story. And I think there is true freedom in that. And it's the same as when I wake up in the morning. I don't have to think about what I'm going to do. I don't have to think about, am I going to work out today? Am I going for a walk today? I'm going to read my 10 pages. I'm going to drink 4 liters of water. Am I going to follow my diet? No, that is a God-given conclusion, like a foregone conclusion at this point, And yes, on my thing, like I've got a spreadsheet on it. Here, I'll bring it up. What do we got? Oh no, did that fully just cancelled that. Oh, you're gagging. Oh no, it's still going. There you go. Sweet. XY. So we nearly got yeah, 24 things that I have to tick off each day. So that's one of those things that just keeps it going. Like, that makes it so much easier for me to do. Sorry while I mess around with this. Because, like, these are a lot of things that I have to keep track of, but also I know what I have to do every day. And some of them are really simple. Like I have to take pictures of myself every day. I have to be 100% on my diet. Things where it's like no sedation, no TV, no social media. The exception on TV is if it's with other people and or once I've completed everything else on my list. But, this is how you create freedom through discipline. And I need to get better on my power list because so far, I'm going to be honest and I'm self critical. I'm a perfectionist and things like this. But I've been picking things that are really simple to, tick off. Like it's like, oh, well, I'll do my daily post. I'll write that down on my power list. Oh, I'll do daily email for my business. Write that on my power list. Like things that are taking like 5-10 minutes to get done. And part of that is necessary. Part of that is copping out because, I hadn't been doing any of this. I hadn't barely been fucking working. A part of it was that like I work pretty hard on the gym floor and I do work hard on the programming and stuff, but like marketing and things like that, I got pretty lucky that I've been in business for 11 years. So my business just ticks along without much effort on that front. It's not growing, but it wasn't, dying either. But, you know, it needs to be better. I need to do things that are going to progress me forward in life. As I've discussed, I don't want to sit here and like continue to live out the same lifespan for the next 75 years. Like I don't get why people don't push themselves, why they don't risk it for the biscuit. Like there's got to be more to life than just doing the same. And like I am witnessing, with things like my parents and older people I know that they get to this stage of life and I'm like, you didn't risk it. And now you're like, oh shit. Like, now what? You haven't, you played it too cautiously and now you're like, oh fuck, I don't have the capacity to retire on the terms I want, or I hate my life, or any of those things. And I'm like, I just don't understand that. And that also comes from like, yes, you've got to put food on the table, but there are other hours. Like, as I said, I'd much rather be spending this time with my wife, but this is a commitment that I made. Therefore, it's getting done. And if you make these choices, if you're constantly putting instant gratification first, at some point, that is going to catch up with you. At some point, it's all going to come back and haunt you. And I don't want that. I want to look back and go, I gave it everything. I did it all. I risked it all and I did the work and I know that I left it all out on the field. As long as I do that, I know I lived a good life, So I don't get this concept of like, oh, that's enough. No, I don't feel like doing that work kind of thing. But it's also within that fact of like, I don't understand people who don't want to work and they hate their jobs and all that kind of stuff. I understand putting food on the table, but find an avenue to do something else that is more enjoyable. Like, yes, as I said, I've reached the end point of where I am with my current gym. It's not that I don't want to work anymore. I just want to change what I do. Like, I cannot imagine a point in my life where I don't do work. But maybe that's part of this whole thing. Maybe that's what makes me different. That it's this is a forever pursuit. That I'm going to find something else to challenge me and something else to stimulate that growth and potential. That this chasing greatness is a forever ongoing until my last dying breath. This is something that I'll be doing because what else is the fucking point? Like, and it comes back to this thing of like, especially as men, we need a purpose. We need a reason. We need something to drive us forward to get out of bed in the morning. And it's why men who retire, like, and obviously they push the retirement age back now, but men used to retire when they were 55, 60, and they would die within 5 years because they had no reason. They'd spent all their life getting up and going to work to provide for their family, and when they didn't have that, it was like, well, what the shit's the point of this? Like, so you've got to find purpose in something bigger than you. And look, you've got to figure out where that line is, because my purpose is my family. They are my number one priority. They come before everything. My wife and my kids before everything. But this is for my wife and my kids. I do this for them. I do this to be the best man I can be, so that I can lead by example, so that I can provide the life that they want. You know, I was talking to a friend and I sent her this video, and it was really simple, and it was just basically like one of those throwaway videos, and it said, you know, Mummy, why is our family so rich? And then it flicked to all these images of a man grinding it out, and it said, because Daddy never gave up. And fuck, did that hit me in the feels. Like, and that's the point. Like, you know, I'm doing this so that they can have a life beyond all measure. That not everything given, but the opportunities to do whatever they want. As I said, I told my wife that she was done working when she had our daughter, so she was 30. That woman never has to work a day in her life again if she doesn't want to. You know? And there have been discussions with many people where they're like, why doesn't she go back to work? And I was like, why the fuck would she? You know, she doesn't want to work, therefore she doesn't have to. And we had kids for a reason. We like spending times with our kids. And this is a discussion for a whole different thing. There's one of like people who don't actually like spending time with their children. I'm like, why the fuck would you have children if you don't actually want to hang out with them? But yeah, I find it this fascinating one that we live in this society where, don't get me wrong, I know we are blessed beyond all measure, but that is from what I have done with my life. But that they look down on us because my wife doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mum. That's the hardest fucking job on the planet. And if you don't believe it, just try it for a week. There's literally studies that suggest that the only jobs harder than being a stay-at-home mum are an ER doctor and the frontline military. Those are the only two that are more emotionally stressful, that have longer hours, that place more anxiety and stress on you. Because you don't get a break. There is no off switch. My wife hasn't had a full night's sleep in 4 years. You know, so this is the difference we're playing here. But, you know, they look down on that and they're like, oh, well, she should work. And I'm like, why? You know, especially with the cost of daycare and stuff, we wouldn't actually make any more money from her going back to work. And then our kids would be exposed to the shit that is daycare. So I think you need this purpose, whether it is for you, whether it is to change the world, whether it is to look after your family, whatever it may be. But you need to listen to the muse and find something that drives you. But doing something like 126 to Greatness builds the foundation for the ability to do that. It stems from it. Like, fitness isn't the purpose, it's the tool to lead to the purpose. It's the tool that leads to discipline. It's the tool that leads to focus and drive and grit. And then on top of that, the fitter and healthier you are, the better you're able to handle stress, the better you're able to work, the more focus and discipline you have. Like, all these kinds of things. You know, it's the tool to create the byproduct. It's not the purpose. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I started again because I wasn't happy with my physique. Yes, I want to be shredded. I want to be back in such incredible shape that I look in the mirror and I'm like, fuck yeah, like, that's what it's about. But on the flip side, it's about building the man that I need to be so I can lead by example, so that I can show my kids what is possible. Because when I tell them that they can be anything, they can do anything, and they can achieve anything, I don't want them to look back at me and go, but you didn't. you know, and that's a really big thing. I think a lot of kids grow up and their parents are like, "You're amazing, you're so special, you can do anything." And you get to a point and you go, "But you didn't fucking do anything." And when it comes to our parents, we either aspire to be like them or aspire to be the exact opposite of them. God, I hope I've set an example that they aspire to be like me. So it's this kind of thing. And, kids are so heavily influenced by these actions. And I don't think there is enough of that. I think we're living in a society that, cops out on that. Like, in all aspects, in parenting, in, what we expect of people. As I said, like, there's my favorite example at the moment is the Wiggles. There is the young hot Wiggle who's the fitness Wiggle. And if you don't know what the Wiggles are, they are a children's band, I suppose you talk about, but like they've been around so long that I listened to them when I was a child. But anyway, they kind of like Doctor Who cycle through Wiggles and they get new Wiggles all the time. Anyway, so he's this fit one. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, he's in his early 20s. He's known to work out like 3 to 4 times a week. He's got fantastic genetics and he's in reasonable shape. He's not in like phenomenal shape. He's just not fat. And they're like, wow, look how dedicated this man is. All this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, this is the minimum barrier to entry. And I've had this discussion with a few people and they're like, that's really harsh. And I'm like, we need to be harsh. We need to stop cuddling people and being like, it's okay, the dad bod's hot. Like, it's fucking not. It says that you disrespect yourself, that you don't have enough respect for yourself and your family and your community and all those around you, that you couldn't stop shoving shit into your face, that you couldn't actually lift some weights, that you couldn't actually choose to be a healthier, fitter version for you. And that's harsh. I'm aware, but maybe we need some harshness back in this reality. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be a fucking bodybuilder and a fitness model or whatever it is and walk around, at like single digit body fat all year round. But you need to be in shape. You need the ability to look after yourself. You need the ability to not, sleep funny and be fucking ruined for a week, or like try and bend down and throw out your back. You should be able to do shit. Like, the amount of, look, I will probably keep coming back to parenting because that is where I'm at in life, but the amount of parents I witness and I'm like, if your child had an incident, you wouldn't be able to help. If your child tried to run away, you wouldn't be able to catch them. If your child got stuck on the equipment, you're fucked. You're calling the fire brigade. Like, what are we doing here, guys? We've let this standard of self-responsibility slip to such a level that we are basically helpless in this scenario. We are helpless to do anything. And that's so fucking sad. And even within that, like, I know I'm fitter than most people. I am deeply, deeply unhappy with where I am at right now. But I'm also now challenging myself because part of it was, I can't remember what, Lex asked me to do something the other day and I didn't have the flexibility and the mobility to do it. And I was like, fuck, that's going to be fixed. I'm strong as shit. I can still run pretty damn fast, especially when my knee's good. I can do all that kind of stuff. But my mobility, because I fucking hate flexibility. I hate mobility training. It's so boring and it hurts me, hurts my soul. But, it was one of those ones I'm like, man, you've got to walk the walk. You can't preach this and not walk the walk. And so doing stuff now, it's the end of a 4-week cycle. I'm going to completely shift my programming and I'm going to start doing shit that is more mobility or more flexibility. So I am capable. If she asks me to sit down on the floor or crawl under things or anything like that, I am capable of doing that, And I got to stay on top of that. And there are days where shit just sucks. We play this game called Runaway Baby. So when I push them in the pram, they like me to let go of the pram and chase it. When my knees are shot because I've been squatting and things, it is a nightmare to try and run cold. I'm like, that's another problem. That needs to be fixed. but we don't take any self-responsibility. We're just like, oh, and people tell me all the time, they're like, oh, well, you're getting older now. Maybe you should just accept that you can't do these things. Oh, you're not really meant to run anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm 32. You know, like, what are we saying here? Why, like, past 25, it's like, oh, put them out to pasture. They can't exercise anymore. They can't do anything. What the fuck? But that's where we're at in society. Oh, you're just getting old. It's fine. It's acceptable. No, it's not. Do something about it. My next thing is going to be learn how to truly run again. And I'm going to do sprints and all that kind of stuff. Because we let those things go. And I saw one the other day and they're like, your body truly starts aging the day you stop sprinting, jumping, and climbing stuff. Okay. Need to get them back into my thing, because I refuse to let it age like that. There's all these jokes about being the alpha dad in the neighborhood. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want you to be intimidated by my shit. Like, I want to walk around and you go, well, fuck. Those are the things that also matter because, as I said, like, part of this is, laugh at it all you want. I plan to live to 120. And till the day I die, I want to be able to play with whatever generation of kids I have going on, whether it's grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, whatever the fuck that will be. I want to be able to play with them till the day I die. But, I look at parents who are in their early 20s, late 20s, 30s, whatever the fuck it is, and I'm like, you can't even play with your current child. What hope are you going to have of your grandchildren? Like, but we've just let go of this responsibility that we need to take responsibility for our life, that, we can just wave it off as, oh, that's society. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, I don't need that ability anymore. No, you should be in the peak condition you can be at all times, ready to handle any situation. And as I said, this flows into everything. The physical component is just the starting point, but it makes you mentally better. It makes you emotionally better. It makes your relationships better. It makes all of that better and stronger. So start taking responsibility. It is your duty, your honor, and your privilege to chase greatness. And that starts on the physical level, and it extends into everything from there. So I've rambled. I've yelled at you. I hope you enjoyed, but I'll be back tomorrow with some more, and we'll go from there, guys. Talk to you soon.